Welcome to Earl Stewart on Cars.
Spot delivery is the act of getting the person who buys a car, the customer, in the car and over the curb and on the road as quickly as possible. A primary reason for it is it takes the person out of the market. If they're going to be competitive shopping and you deliver the car immediately, who's got the trade-in? The dealer's got the trade-in. So you can't be shopping and comparing a price, even if you haven't signed the paperwork completely, or if your credit has been approved quickly. So it takes you out of the market because the dealer keeps your trade-in. Reason number two is a legal reason. There's something in the law called consideration. Consideration means in a contract, I have to give you something and you have to give me something back. A contract is a two-way street. So when a car buyer takes possession of the product, which is the car, and taking possession is consummated with a spot delivery because you've driven what you bought home. And in the eyes of the law, that solidifies a legal contract. The third reason is that oftentimes your credit has not been approved completely. At least it hasn't been fine-tuned. You might not know the exact amount of your down payment or your interest, which is good for the dealer. Because when you take that car home, you fall in love with it. It's a puppy dog. Have you ever been to a pet store and you bought a kitten or a puppy and you took it home and showed your child and the whole family falls in love with the puppy? Well, that happens to new cars too. So when you take that car home, that new car, even though you haven't finalized things, your neighbor sees it, your sister, your friends, you're real proud of that shiny new car. It sits in your driveway. You're the talk of the neighborhood. Are you going to take that car back and say, I changed my mind, or my credit wasn't approved, or even if the dealer says, I need another $5,000 down, you just might scramble around to find that $5,000 when you didn't think you had to have it before because you fell in love with that car. These are all reasons that the spot delivery exists. Most all dealerships do well over half of the deliveries as a spot delivery. They want you to get that car. Never, ever accept a spot delivery. Don't ever take a car until your financing is completed, until you know the exact amount of your down payment. Everything is signed, the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and it can be quite embarrassing, by the way, when they call you up and say, your credit was turned down. Sometimes they actually can't get the credit accepted, and you've been home with that car for several days, maybe even a week or more. Everybody thinks you own that car. Think of the embarrassment to have to say to your neighbors, I had to bring my new car back because my credit is bad. And that happens, and it's a terrible thing that dealers do because it's epidemic. But in most states, it's legal, and most states, it's abused, and it should be eliminated. And then be sure the car is right. Be sure that there's no scratches, there's no noises. You should road test the car. Be sure that car is exactly right. If you have optional equipment that the dealer was going to install, a radio or sunroof or whatever, be sure it's on the car and everything is to your satisfaction. Because when you take that car and you go home with it, you've lost a lot of your rights, your negotiating rights, your legal rights. If you miss that ding or that scratch or blemish on the upholstery or whatever it may be, the longer you have that car, the more likely they're going to hold you responsible for it. There are some scratches that can be so subtle that you don't notice it for days. And you call the dealer up and they said, well, why didn't you say something sooner? So they would hold you responsible. And some of these little scratches that you think are just minor, it's a brand new car. Remember this, you just don't want something to take some touch-up paint and paint over that scratch. You want a professional job. So a little scratch on a new car can cost several $100s to do it right if you blend the paint in properly. So yeah, you walk around that car. Don't take delivery at night. Don't take delivery of a car when it's raining. You should take delivery of your car in the sunshine outside when it's dry and you can walk around the car, and the car should be washed, obviously, and clean so you can spot all the problems. And look in the trunk and look under the hood and look at the upholstery and look at the car thoroughly. What happens to that car a week from now, the dealer doesn't know, and you can't be sure yourself. If you just notice a scratch, how do you know it didn't occur while it was in your possession? So never, ever accept a spot delivery. Earl Stewart.